Today, I'm going to simplify one of the most confusing topics for woodworkers, give you actual side-by-side comparisons of 12 popular products, and answer the age-old question if there really is a perfect finish. To help make sense of this, I'm going to group finishes into 3 categories: varnishes, natural oils, and hard wax oils. Contrary to popular belief, varnish is not one singular finish. Instead, it's a broad group of finishes that create a layer of protection over the wood after building up multiple coats. This is often referred to as a film finish. So everything you see in front of me right now is a varnish. Not just this guy, because it says varnish on the label. Varnishes are applied by brushing, wiping, or spraying. Polyurethane seems to be the go-to for most woodworkers starting out, and something like this Minwax is a cheap and accessible option. Since polyurethanes are oil-based, they do require a solvent like paint thinner to clean up your brushes if you choose that for an application method. But a water-based poly, sometimes referred to as a polyacrylic, gives you the ability to clean up using, you guessed it, a quality tool. Although I typically use foam brushes because I'm lazy, so I don't even worry about any of that. Water-based also dries faster, so you can apply more coats in a single day, but in my eyes, the real difference between oil and water-based poly is the appearance your piece will have after finishing. This is especially noticeable on the lighter color woods. You can see that the oil-based polyurethane leaves the maple and the white oak with a more amber tone, while the water-based poly has almost no tint to it whatsoever. On the flip side, the water-based products leave the darker colored woods looking... Also, water-based varnishes are slightly more finicky and difficult to apply because they don't penetrate as well as the oil-based. If you're looking to join the cool kids of woodworking, General Finish's Armor Seal is a great wiping varnish. Armor Seal uses higher quality resins, which are supposed to result in a better finish. This is super easy to apply and almost impossible to screw up. You can brush it, but most people wipe it on because it's already thinned down. The water-based version of this finish is known as high performance. Okay, let's pause quickly and talk about some of the pros and cons of oil and water-based polys. Of all the finishes, these create the highest level of surface protection because you're basically building up a layer of plastic over your piece, epoxy river tables. But since these take multiple coats to build up a protective layer, it will require more overall time for a finished product, especially when using an oil-based product. And more dry time means more opportunities for dust to settle into your piece. So you need to keep your space reasonably dust-free, and this entire process can take days. Repairing these water or oil-based varnishes is not super easy, and typically ends with you sanding down all of the visible areas to get a consistent looking finish again. And finally, on the positive side, these are reasonably cheap compared to other finishes. So when should you use these? A good oil or water-based product is an ideal finish for any indoor project, but where these really shine is on high-traffic pieces like tabletops because they can withstand a lot of abuse. Let me get this out of the way because I'm sure I'll be asked or questioned in the comments. Every product I'm going to show an example of got the full finishing treatment as if this were a piece of furniture. At a minimum, all the varnishes got 4 coats, some even 5 to 6. Because finishes can be somewhat subjective, I got a second, even a third opinion.
Ew.
And the 4 wood species being showcased are figured maple, quarter sawn white oak, sapelli, and walnut. Looking at these 4 options, and the cool hip woodworkers are thinking there's a clear winner, and that's the Armor Seal. But that's not Armor Seal. Yep, that's Minwax.
So look at this.
The walnut and the sapelli look surprisingly great, and Minwax gets a bad rap for looking plasticky, but my new theory is that's the gloss and the semi-gloss products from them. This satin looks and feels really good. And since this applies just as easily as the Armor Seal, especially when you thin down the last coats, I'm giving the nod to Minwax. But that's not the end of the story. Anything that accentuates the darker woods tends to muddy the lighter woods too much if you're looking for clarity. This will be a recurring theme throughout the comparisons. On the lighter woods, it's between the polyacrylic and the high performance. Now, this isn't a perfect comparison because I used a high gloss polyacrylic versus the satin of the high performance. But this also highlights what I mentioned earlier. The polyacrylic is simply horrible. Everything about it looks fake, and it ambers the maple more than the high performance, which is the entire reason you would opt for a water-based finish to begin with. So General Finish is high performance, and the Minwax polyurethane move on. Another popular option in the world of varnish is shellac, which comes from the secretion of the lac bug. You can buy ready-to-use shellac or make your own by purchasing those bug poop flakes and then mixing it with a solvent. It is easy to apply, you can brush it, but I like to thin it down with denatured alcohol and then wipe it on. It dries quickly and leaves your pieces with a classic looking finish, but shellac is not very durable compared to other varnishes. Because of the durability concerns, shellac is not a great option for high traffic pieces, but it's ideal for something like boxes, shelves, or other low contact builds. The final varnish we're going to talk about is lacquer. This is typically sprayed, and there are plenty of options that come in a nice rattle can if you don't have an HVLP setup like me. You could also be a crazy person and brush it, but don't be a crazy person. Lacquer dries the fastest of any of the products we're going to discuss today, so you can build up a lot of coats very quickly. Now, one of the nice things about shellac and lacquer is they don't require a mechanical bond. That means you technically don't need to sand between coats because each subsequent coat adheres to the coat below it without any assistance. When you're comparing shellac and lacquer, you can see they are reasonably close, but the shellac ambers the maple the most of all of these products. In terms of feel, both are buttery smooth, although you can really feel the film on the top of these. If I were to choose a better all-around finish between the two, I would take lacquer. It's just more durable, can be used on just about every type of build, and is very easy to apply, and most importantly, is faster from start to finish. So lacquer advances to the final round. One last note on varnishes: if for whatever reason you got confused at the big box store and accidentally grabbed a 2x4 instead of walnut, which happens, fear not, any varnish, oil, or water base can be applied over stain once it's fully dried. The second category is natural oils. Now, these provide the most aesthetically pleasing and natural looking finishes. That's because the oils penetrate below the surface of the wood, unlike varnishes that build up a film on top. Application is extremely easy, and you truly can't mess it up. Simply wipe them on liberally, allow time for the oil to penetrate, and then wipe off the excess. A second and third coat can be applied within a day or so. The two common oils that are readily available are tongue and linseed oil. Pure tongue oil comes from the nuts of the tongue tree. The downside to tongue oil is the dry time. You sometimes need to wait days in between coats. But unlike linseed oil, which we'll talk about in a moment, it doesn't change color over time and is slightly more water resistant. But if water resistance is a concern, natural oils really shouldn't even be considered. Boiled linseed oil is often referred to as BLO. This comes from flaxseed and dries much quicker between coats compared to tongue oil. The downside to BLO is it can darken over time. Both these oils are incredibly easy to repair. Just sand the affected area and reapply. But wait, there's actually a third product that is sold as an oil, but it's not really a true natural oil. Danish oil is an equal parts mixture of tongue or linseed oil, mineral spirits, and then a varnish like polyurethane. The idea here is you get the natural look and absorption of the tongue or the linseed oil with a little added protection from the varnish like the poly. Application is exactly the same as the other two oils and gives a really great finished look. Alright, so what are the pros and cons of natural oils? Visually, these are the best and most organic in appearance. Application is really easy, maybe the easiest of all the products, but these offer the least amount of protection. With all those factors being considered, natural oils are best for very low contact builds such as bandsaw boxes, picture frames, and shelves. Definitely not chairs or coffee tables. If you love the look of the natural oils, but you want more protection, you can put a couple coats of varnish over the top once it's fully dried. When comparing these three side by side, there really isn't a distinct difference until you get in close. The darkest of the three is the boiled linseed oil, but on something like the walnut, sapelli, and even the white oak, it's almost too dark and looks muddy, and you lose a lot of that chatoyance. The Danish and the tongue oil are very close, but I'm going to give the nod to Danish oil for a couple reasons. You're getting the benefit of a little extra protection because of the varnish mixed in, and it dries much faster. So the Danish oil marches on to the finals. The final category finishes are known as hard wax oils. Now, these have become quite the rage in recent years. If you're unfamiliar with this finish, they started out in the hardwood flooring industry and eventually made their way into furniture. Hard wax oils are very literal. The oil penetrates the surface and bonds with the wood fibers, and once dry, the wax creates a reasonably strong layer of protection, resulting in a buttery smooth finish. Application is very similar and easy for these two products. You can trowel it on for larger pieces, or simply rub it in with a white Scotch-Brite for the smaller builds. After you let that sit for a bit, you just buff off the excess. First up is Rubio Monaco, which you've probably heard of unless this is your first time on YouTube. Rubio Monaco markets itself as a one-coat finish, but I've used it enough to comfortably tell you it needs a second coat unless you want something really flat looking. I guess Rubio Duo Coat didn't have the same ring to it. Also, if you need something to fully cure in 1 week, you need to add in their accelerator, which costs more money. Otherwise, it's a 3-week cure time. In defense of Osmo, they are comfortable in their own skin and market this as a 2-coat finish. And there's a noticeable difference between the first and second application, unlike Rubio. Now, they recommend 14 days as a cure time, but no extra charge. If you're familiar with hard wax oils, there's a third very popular product, Odie's oil. This is the only finish of the 12 we discussed today that I haven't used before. So I reached out to Odie's Oil and they made it very clear they did not want to be included. In fact, specifically said, please refrain from using us in your post. Fortunately for you,
whatever, I do what I want.
Odie's markets the finish as 100% VOC free and can be used in food safe applications like cutting boards. Now, one of the other advantages Odie's has versus the other two is prep. With Odie's, you can sand up to whatever your heart desires. Unlike Rubio and Osmo that don't recommend going beyond 120 to 150. But I always go to 180 with those and never have issues. Let's talk about the pros and cons of hard wax oils. These are really expensive, and while a jar goes a long way and can finish multiple large builds, it's still sticker shock initially. Expect to pay $45 to $75 as an upfront cost. In return, you're getting the benefits of quick and easy applications that are really difficult to mess up. Additionally, significantly lower VOCs or none at all.
Gonna take pollution down to zero.
These aren't as durable as a varnish like poly, but if it's good enough for hardwood floors, it's probably good enough for your kitchen table. And like the natural oils, repair is a breeze. Simply sand the area with a scratch and then reapply. I'm sure you guessed it, but these are great for any type of build, large or small, even high traffic pieces. Time to pick a winner. When looking top down at the darker woods, there wasn't much of a difference between the Odie's and the Rubio. Osmo just looked blah. But a side view reveals a very clear winner on the walnut and the sapelli, and poetically enough, that's the Odie's oil. But here's where it gets interesting. While YouTube would lead you to believe otherwise, people do occasionally build projects out of species other than walnut.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
On the lighter white oak and the maple, the Odie's has too much of an ambering effect like we've talked about earlier and doesn't look nearly as good as the Rubio or the Osmo, where I honestly can't tell a difference. I hate participation trophies and split decisions, but there isn't a clear winner here. These are all great finishes depending on your wood species since they all apply the same, are very expensive, and visually have their pros and cons. I'm going to settle this debate in a future video with a durability test between the three. They all advance to the final round. We're left with Minwax Poly, General Finish High Performance, Lacquer, Danish Oil, and your choice of a hard wax oil. Visually, the Minwax Poly is the worst of the bunch. In fact, all four options of poly were really underwhelming next to these other finishes. Other than high performance, but that's a bit of a one-trick pony with the maple. The Danish oil has a great overall appearance, but it's not a good all-around finish because of the lack of protection. Lacquer is so easy to apply, and while it's fairly durable, it doesn't have the same natural look and feel of the hard wax oils. So are these three the perfect finish? Absolutely not. The perfect finish really doesn't exist because each project has its own needs, but you certainly can't go wrong with any one of these or the other finalists. Test them out, wear a respirator, bye!